Welcome back to PSGL F8 action. Apologies for the slight introduction there. We were on board with Sipke, who actually set a fantastic lap time to go fastest to 124.439. Sam still in second. Captain Chubbs is in third position at the moment. So two race winners from the first two races so far this season, looking incredibly fast at the moment. We've got a yellow flag in sector one as we've just watched Weiserman invalidate right at the last minute, and that would have been a 125.0. Would have been good enough to put him just behind his teammates. Still a few drivers yet to set a time. JML Panda currently after invalidating earlier, well, not after invalidating, after blocking Sipke last week in Hungary. That is the reason for him being a long way down the order at this moment in time. Yeah, I do apologise for the stream going down. We should all be back to normal now. We're seeing Sam on another lap, trying to see what he can do in the Renault, trying to see what sort of times he can set after winning the first race. We've said this before, 5 minutes to go. Is he going to end up taking the victory here today? You've got a yellow flag, and that is just for the McLaren moving out of the way at this moment in time. On board with Sam then, 101.3, he's faster than his personal best. He needs to gain about a tenth in this middle sector to go any quicker than the others. Is he going to be able to do that? Can he gain any time as he's actually gone straight into the pits? So he clearly feels as though he's got more to give. Will have just about enough time to get back out on circuit, so I'll have to wait and see what he can do in a final run. Who have we got out on track at the moment? It is Sipke again in the Williams, so sort of set a warm-up on his first lap. Didn't really go for it. He's definitely looks as though he's going for it now. See, fastest of anyone so far in this session with a 124.439. Sam, Chubbs, Husby, Arby's, Tom, Callum, Catboy, OTG and Langfeld, the top 10 at the moment. We've still got 3 drivers yet to set a lap time, which is quite interesting indeed. So they're leaving it very late. Don't want to take it too long. A Sipke weaving almost trying to heat his tyres up there. You can see he's not been as fast as a few of the others through Cops. Whether that's a setup choice he's gone for in his car or whether he's just not got it quite right from there, I'm not quite sure, but it doesn't look like he's having too many setup problems as he is the fastest of everyone. And yeah, maybe just going for a second lap here, because you see 1.3 seconds off his personal best. He's the only driver out on track at the moment. Everyone else sitting in the pit lane, leaving it right until the end. And Sipke actually decided to dive until the pit. So we've got a very quiet track here all of a sudden at the border between Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, but the silence is about to be broken. Tom AJ coming out on track in the McLaren. .124.802 from him at the moment, only 2 thousandths of a second faster than Callum Anderson, who, let's not forget, he's leading the championship despite not winning a race. Callum, 2 podiums out of 2 races. He's had that consistency so far, and that is why he is in the lead of the championship at the moment. Tom, Captain Chubbs also coming out on circuit, both the Alfa Romeo, so you'd expect everyone to be heading out now, getting ready for their final laps. Last week's race winner currently in 3rd place behind last week's pole sitter Sam and winner of Austria. 2 of these guys will be hoping for obviously their best performances of the season so far. Sipke only got an 8th place, his best result, and he's staying in the pits right until the end, so leaving it a long time. I wonder whether he's happy with his performance, because if he doesn't start hurrying up soon, he might run out of time for this session. We've got some good luck in the chat here for Sam, Ollie and James. The Captain Chubbs taking it nice and careful. Few of us still in the pit. Weiserman in the pit, so he won't be able to set another lap time. Neither will Ollie, so they're leaving it right until the end. Who's going to be first person then across the line? It is going to be Tom in the McLaren, so he's first one across the line. He'll be first one to finish this qualifying session. It'll be one of the Williams. I believe Sipyi will be the last person. We've got good luck messages here for Willow's 10 as Captain Chubbs has binned it on the pit straight by the looks of things. Yeah, you can see there just Willow's having to floor it past him through the yellow flag. So it's a shame for Captain Chubbs. Third is the best he will be able to do. We'll be hoping that we don't see too many improvements from some of those around him, because it's only a 10 for the second back to Husby. Tom AJ has improved. Ollie has retired. He's in the pit lane, so we know we're not going to get any more laps from Ollie, Visorman, Panda, OTG and Chubbs. Some more yellow flags here. I think that's just for slow moving Alfa Romeo, so I'm not sure if one of those now has had any trouble. Yeah, it looks like Moore has gone off the circuit, so he won't be able to set a proper lap time in this session. And Catboy Keys got extremely deep as well. A lot of drivers struggling for grip. All of a sudden, we are getting to the end of the session. Everyone out on track is going to be trying to set a lap. Tom will be the first one to do so, as the checkered flag has dropped here at Silverstone. Let's see what Tom can do. Braking hard there into the chicane. What sort of time is he going to set in the McLaren? Is it going to be an improvement for him? It is indeed. That moves him up into 4th place for now. Who else have we got out on track? That looks like they're improving. Willow's currently in that magical 11th place where you get the free tyre choice. He's showing big improvements at this moment in time, so could maybe move a long way up the order here. See what sort of lap it is for Willows. He now heads across the finish line. That puts him up into 8th place. Very respectable lap indeed for him. We've got one of the Renaults coming around the final corner. That is Sam. Has he improved? Yes, he has. By 29 thousandths of a second. He leads Sipke at the moment. Langfell in 11th place as Catboy Keys off the circuit again. What can Langfell do? He knocks Ollie out of the top 10. Championship leader Callum Anderson is now coming around the final corner. What sort of time can he set? He goes up into 3rd place. Husby follows behind. He's not able to get ahead of Tom. We've got the Williams of Free Gloves. He's slowed down towards the line. I wonder if he'd set his best lap on... No, I just think he didn't want to get the top 10. He wanted the free tyre choice. So it's just Sipia left, and he steals pole position then. Right at the death, the Williams driver, 124.361. Only Z Freakser left on circuit at the moment. He's made a mistake on his lap somewhere, but that will promote him up into 13th, red number 27. But it is Sipke on pole position of the two Renault boys, obviously dominating the Constructors' Championship at the moment. 16 points ahead, so a full race win ahead already. Those two there, 2nd and 3rd on the grid, and Captain Chubbs might be thinking what could have been as he is in 4th. But you can just see how close it is. Top 10 drivers separated by just less than 6/10 of a second, and that top 10 is being led today by Sipke. He got blocked in qualifying last time around. He had no such troubles here. He will be on pole position for this race. There we go, Sipke on pole position. We'll get the rest of the order up now. Everyone's setting their times on the soft tyres. Sipke first, 2 Renault, Sam, Callum Anderson 2nd and 3rd, Captain Chubbs 4th, Tom is 5th, Husby 6th, Arby's 7th, Willows 8th, Catboy Key, despite the mistake on his final lap, is 9th, Langfell rounding out the top 10. Ollie will have free choice of tyres in 11th, Free Gloves and Z Freakser were the only other drivers to set a lap time, and Z Freakser's definitely not a representative lap time. Moore and Visorman didn't set a time in that session, and Panda obviously didn't set a time in the Red Bull after he had a qualifying ban. So, great lap from a few drivers there. Who is going to take the victory then? Will it be Sipke taking the win? Will we see maybe a second win of the season from Sam, because he looked close to doing it last time around until he had connection issues? This is going to get very interesting here for round 3 at PSGL. That is not all the action you got today. Loads of action from leagues 6 to 9, as well as this one. We've got a few of them going on now, and a couple more at 8 o'clock, as it looks very overcast around this Silverstone circuit. And let's not forget tomorrow, F1 to F5 action, the main event, F1 taking place at 8 o'clock with Owen and Austin Smith taking us through that action. But for now, we've got 26 laps around here. And I did say earlier on that rain is always a big possibility, and it looks like that might be the case again here tonight. Just a bit of blue sky you can see there popping through, so the drivers will be picking their strategies. One stop is what you would expect just because of how long the pit lane is here. It's not really worth going for the two-stop action. Not worth going for the two-stop, as you will lose about 25 seconds pit loss time. So the longest pit lane, as I said earlier, of the season. So we are underway then on the formation lap. We'll check what tyres everyone has gone for. We knew the top 10 would be on the softs. Vizeman and Panda have also gone for the soft tyres, so they'll be looking to make up lots of places in the early stages. Everyone else outside the top 10, so that's 11th to 14th, on the medium, so they will be playing the long game as one of the Reynolds. I think that was Callum Anderson going very wide there, so let us know in the chat who you guys think will be able to win this race. Will Sipke become the third different winner we've had so far this season, with the two previous winners are starting second and fourth on the dirtier side of the grid? Championship leader Callum Anderson starting in third place, the only man to get podiums in both races so far. In fact, there's not many drivers that have got points in both races to get so far. Only him, Frederick, who's not here tonight, Mimolu, who he's another driver who's actually missing as well tonight. Tom, he's currently in 7th in the championship. He's another driver who's got points both times around, and Langfeld, who's starting in 10th place. So this could be a very close battle around here. 2 DRS zones to look out for. Obviously, after lap 2, if you were in a second of the car in front, Sipke seems to be absolutely flying it round on this formation lap at the moment. I was about to say, what could do with slowing down there, as he might lose a lot of temperature. We have got some support from my F3 co-com, and it would be nice for him to win, just so I can introduce him tomorrow for F3 action at 8 PM as multiple F8 race winner, but we'll have to see what he can do. I'm sure his teammate, who he does have a good relationship with, will be hoping to win as well. There's the strategies you can see there. Expect the first starts round about lap 8 or 9 for those on the soft tyres, and maybe we'll see some of these go for the hards if they're feeling a bit less comfortable on the tyre wear. Otherwise, they'll try and stretch it to the mediums. But Sipke's leading them round. What can Panda, Moore and Vizeman do? Not one of these set a lap time, and Panda's wasn't by choice, obviously, after his qualifying ban, so this could be very close indeed. Who is going to take the victory here today? We've got a new pole sitter in Sipke, only 3 points so far this season. What will he be able to do this time around as we wait for the lights to come on here at Silverstone? Engine notes will be rising, just waiting. There we go, we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here at Silverstone. We are underway with round 3 of PSGL F8, and it is a good start from Sipke. Sam getting a bit of wheel spin there, and actually Captain Chubbs having an absolutely fantastic start as there is a Renault all the way round. That will be Callum Anderson, the championship leader, dropping right down towards the back of the field. Husby's been involved in some incident as well. He's got big damage on his front wing, and I think Ollie had a problem on the formation lap. Sam leading this race then, so it's been a disaster for one Renault, a perfect start for the other, but he's got Captain Chubbs all over the back of him. Tom and Sipke have stopped round as well, so not a great start for the Williams of Sipke. He qualified on pole, he's down to 4, but Chubbs all over the back of Sam at this moment in time. Good start from Free Gloves as well on those medium tyres. He's got himself up into 8th place in the early stages. He could end up being a bit of a cork in the bottle for a few of these drivers, but a nightmare for Callum Anderson. We'll check if he has got any damage on his car. Can't really tell from that angle. Looks like he's got away without any major wing damage, so should still be able to do a one-stop strategy. But he's got to fight his way through the field here. Ollie has definitely not set the fastest lap of the race. In fact, I think he might be struggling to get back into the session. He's got a yellow flag in sector 2, and that is Z Freakser. On the approach to Chapel, he has gone off the circuit. Hopefully he stays well out of the way here, because he doesn't want to solidify there. And you can see he's just letting Husby and Ollie, who I think is still a ghost car and an AI car at this moment in time. So Chubbs leading the race, and he's now got ahead of Sam. Tom in 3rd. Sipke will be trying to fight back to get that win. So here we go. We can see Husby, I think, is coming into the pits, obviously with that severe front wing damage. I think everyone else got through unscathed without any major damage as we're on to lap 2 of this race, and it is the 2 winners from the first 2 races who are leading at this moment in time. Captain Chubbs and Sam as Sipy's trying to go down the inside of Tom. He's just going to have to give that up. But we go to the Wellington Straight. He's not got DRS this time around, but will have it on the next lap. He might go for it now, though, on the run into Brooklands, and no. Thinks better of it. In fact, he's tapped the back of Tom, and that's a perfect opportunity for Arby's to get past in the McLaren. So, while trying to overtake one McLaren, Sipy's ended up losing a place to the other one as Husby. He's coming back out the pits on the hard tyre, so he's definitely going to try and stretch these as long as possible. As now Willows is all over the back of Sipy. It's been a nightmare first couple of laps for the pole sitter. Just to make it even worse, he's picked up a 3-second time penalty already. Very easy to do that coming out of Cops. That is where you'll see a lot of drivers picking up the penalties. They're also probably with Maggots and Beckett's, and if you don't get it right, into Stowe as well, although the game is a bit more forgiving with the track limits there. Captain Chubbs in the lead of this race, and he's got a perfect view ahead of him as he's about to start lap 3. Sam is where he started on the grid, but he would not have expected to have been jumped by the Haas, who was in 4th. Tom and Ribbs, other big winners, both of the McLarens enjoying that. Biggest losers, as you can see, obviously Husby and Callum Anderson being involved in various incidents and losing 10 places. The pair of them, Ollie with disconnection issues, he's lost 4 places, and Sipy, the pole sitter, also losing 4 places. But you can see now, DRS is enabled on this lap. Sam is in that DRS zone, as I don't think that fastest lap's getting beaten for the rest of the race, so this could get very interesting indeed, as the Freakser is off again. This could drop him down to 15th. He'll stay ahead of Husby. Hopefully he keeps going on, because you never know here, especially with how overcast it is looking. Just needs to cool his tyres down though to make sure he doesn't get in any more trouble. And these front two are trying to get away at this moment in time. Chubbs leading, Sam 0.6 of a second behind him. Tom, just that gap is around a second, so wouldn't be surprised to see him trying to use his ERS a bit more to stretch that gap, as Panda and Catboy Key getting involved in a battle. They're going to go side by side through Maggots and Beckett's, and you've got Visorman not too far behind, but Catboy Key hopping over the curb there, earned himself a time penalty. Don't think he'll be too bothered about that, because it has secured him 10th position, but he won't have DRS down the straight. That will be the Red Bull of Panda, who's trying to go to the inside. Panda starting at the back of the grid, let's not forget, and he's already up into the points, into 10th place, making best use of them soft tyres, as Sam and Captain Chubbs are battling side by side. Never mind a battle further down the field, we're going to battle for the lead of the race, and Sam has taken the lead again. Must have got an absolutely fantastic run down the Hanger Straight to do so, so he is in the lead. Chubbs has got himself a time penalty. We are seeing quite a few penalties then around this circuit here. Sam goes slightly deep there into Village. Now we've got the loop. Captain Chubbs is going to get the cutback, and he's going to get DRS. That is fantastic driving from the Haas there. Still got Sam alongside him, but you can see he's just going to gain. Sam quite wisely trying to get underneath the Haas there. More yellow flags, and that is now Visorman, who has gone off at the loop. He is able to rejoin. Can't see any damage on his car. He's down in 13th as his teammate has re-overtaken Panda. But obviously that battling at the front of the field has now allowed two McLarens to catch up. You see Ribbs here, he is in 4th place. Sipy not too far behind. Willows, Langfell, Free Gloves trying to get involved in this. All these 8 cars, apart from the one in the lead, have DRS at this moment in time, and Moore is not too far off getting DRS off them as well. So we've got a good old-fashioned DRS train going on here at Silverstone. F1 games are known for them quite a bit, especially now that the dirty air is a bit harder. It is easier to just get stuck in someone's DRS, especially when the car in front of you has it as well. It's very difficult to overtake in that situation, so wouldn't be surprised to see a few early pit stops here. But at the end of lap 4, it's going to be Captain Chubbs in the lead as he looks to make it 2 wins in a row, and Sam, he wants to get his second win of the season. He is currently in 2nd position with 2 McLarens, 3rd and 4th. Further back down the field, it looks like Free Gloves has managed to get ahead of Langfell already, maybe. Those medium tyres coming into their own. Still, we've got Panda and Catboy Key battling for 10th and 11th place. I'm sure Panda would have been hoping to maybe catch up to a few of these guys, but it's not worked out that way at the moment. Panda with 1 point so far this season. Catboy Key will just be looking to finish the race, having not finished the one race yet, and you can see there he's used for DRS to get himself back up into 10th place, and Callum Anderson, championship leader, already on the back of these in the Renault. So this is maybe what a few of the other teams needed to stop Renault winning in the Constructors. It's only pride you get in the Constructors. It's only pride you get in the Drivers' Championship as well. Unless you're in the top 3 divisions, where thanks to our sponsors, Bruto Democracy, there is a prize for winning in the top 3 divisions, and there's also the prize for 2nd and 3rd in the top division as well, as Willows has gone off there through Beckett. He's dropped down into 9th place, and he could be in a bit of trouble soon. Not as much as Catboy Key's going to be in though, as again Panda straight down the inside into Stowe. Catboy not even bothering to defend, he'll just follow for a bit. They swap once again for 10th and 11th, as Panda just going over dirt slightly into Vale. He takes a much deeper line into there. Not sure why he did that, because Catboy wasn't really going for the move, but he has done that. So these are staying in 10th and 11th for now, but it doesn't want to be too long before they'll be moving around. Out in front though, Chubbs is beginning to build up a bit of a lead. He's getting this towards a second, so I think the dirty air is starting to cost these guys, as Callum Anderson has now actually got ahead of Catboy Key, and his teammate is getting hassled by the McLaren of Tom AJ, who's going to chuck it down the inside there. You can still see Sam alongside him through Luffield. The two go. You've got Ribs just there waiting in the wings if there's a mistake between these. Great battling between the pair of them. Tom's going to have to go the long way round through Woodcote, and he's going to get the move done. Fantastic driving from Tom. He's up into 2nd, Sam down into 3rd, and that has allowed the Haas in the lead of this race to get that all-important 1 second window at this moment in time. Well, Sam's just got to regroup now. He's going to have DRS, which the McLaren ahead of him isn't going to have, and you can see he's already in overtake mode, using all the ERS he's allowed to use on this lap to just defend the position, and it is enough for him to be able to hold on. And I'm really interested to see what sort of progress Free Gloves and Moat can make at the moment. They're 6th and 8th after starting on the medium tyres. The other medium tyre runners, the Freaks has made a couple of mistakes, and Ollie OTG is, I believe, still disconnected from the session, so he won't be getting any points today. This alternative strategy could work out well for those medium runners. It all depends whether they can get the medium tyres to last long enough to go onto the softs at the end for that to be a viable option, as Catboy picks up another time penalty. I believe that is his 2nd of the race so far. We're watching Tom then escaping ever so slightly from Sam at the moment, who feels the need to break the toe from Arby's, who doesn't really follow him. There's a bit of a gap now behind these top 5, which Free Gloves will be hoping to fill up in a minute. You would expect, especially now over the next couple of laps, you'd expect the medium tyres on this Williams to be the quicker tyres out of everyone, but he's got to be careful because Langfell is just hanging back as well. You've got Moat, and then you've got Panda and Callum Anderson and Catboy Key all behind Willows. So currently got a 4-way battle for 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, as Callum Anderson way off circuit there. That's definitely going to be a warning, but feels as though he's better off just taking that warning than slowing the car down. Captain Chubbs with another time penalty, so he's picked up basically a warning a lap nearly so far in this race. That could get very costly if he keeps on at that rate, as Panda's going to try and go all the way around the outside at Stowe of Willows, not able to do so, as I think Z Freaks has been off the circuit again. We have got our first scheduled pit stop a lot earlier than we had expected. Sam into the pits at the end of lap 7. It's going to be hard tyres surely for him, unless he is thinking about a 2-stop strategy. He's putting the mediums on. Personally, I can't see him getting those towards the end, so this must be a 2-stop strategy, unless there is forecast rain at the end of this race, because it does look very overcast, and that could then force everyone onto the intermediates, in which case this isn't a bad idea whatsoever. Z Freakser, he gets a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Things going bad to worse for the sole Ferrari driver at the moment, as Panda gets ahead of Willows, and it looks like Callum Anderson's going to follow through as well. Ever the opportunist in the Renault. He is up into 9th position as he continues his fight back from the start of this race. But at the end of lap 7, as we're going on to lap 8, as we'll just hold that thought as Callum Anderson really close it up to Panda through the National Straight there, but in the end not able to get a move on. See, Freaks has put the soft tyres on, so he's definitely committed to a 2-stop. As we're heading towards the end of lap 8, it is Captain Chubbs in the lead, and we will see how he's doing compared to Tom, but we'll just keep an eye on this now, as you can just see the Renault getting ever closer. They're round the outside at Stowe for Callum Anderson, and he retakes 8th position, as we have had a few drivers pitch at the lead of this race, and Callum is coming in as well, just gets it slowed down to that 60 km/h speed limit, so 38 miles an hour. We do have a new leader, and it is Arby's in the McLaren, obviously having to go a lap longer because the double stack, not really a good idea on this game. Tom AJ also going on, pretty much everyone who's coming into the pits going for those medium tyres, so they're going to have to do a lot of management to get those towards the end of the race, so we'll have to see how they cope. It's definitely possible. You can see Chubbs is still coming out ahead by the looks of things, but how far will Sam actually jump up the field? Will he be able to challenge Chubbs? No, he won't. He will have the temperature in his tyres, and he'll obviously have DRS, so we might see an overtake here. He's managed to jump Tom in that period. Callum Anderson's come out in 11th place, just outside the point, so Callum has got a bit of free air there to make use of those medium tyres, which I'm sure will please him greatly. Sam in the slipstream then with DRS open, but Chubbs just far enough ahead, so he's got that nice and safe. So he's the net leader at the moment. You can see highest of everyone who has stopped. The top 6 and Ollie, who is, as I said, not in the session, still yet to stop. And Chubbs 28 seconds off the leader Arby's at this moment in time, and he'll be coming into the pits now, which will promote 3 gloves into the lead of this race then in the Williams. Will, I believe, be the first time this race we've had a Williams leading at the end of the lap, and it's not the one we would have expected after seeing Sipke qualify on pole position. He had a bad start to the race, dropped down the order, was 5th when he came into the pits, and I think we'll probably maintain that, although it might be close with Ribbs, who's obviously had to go 1 lap longer than his teammate and those around him. So at the moment it is only Gloves, Langfell, Moore and Weiserman. Langfell and Weiserman going a long time on those soft tyres, and in fact the Racing Point might soon be holding up the leaders. We'll see where Arby's comes out on circuit. He will be behind Chubbs and Sam, but has actually managed to get ahead of Tom doing the overcut. That is not something I expected, so maybe a few of these guys got held up in the pit lane, as I think Catboy Key's done very similar to what we saw Captain Chubbs do in qualifying. He's lost it coming out of the final corner. Worst place obviously to lose it, on fresh tyres as well. Doesn't look to have done any damage. Will have damaged the tyres ever so slightly, but thankfully he'll be able to continue. Still obviously looking for his first finish of the season. Things getting really close though for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th in this race, and this queue of 5 cars. It looks like one of these will end up being the winner of this race. Which one? Answers on the postcard please, because it's full of action at the moment on lap 10. Sam doing the undercut superbly. He's got 1 lap older tyres than those around him, but good news for him is he was able to jump a place, and you can just see how much more pace he looks to have at the moment. Chubbs moved to the left, then moved to the right hand side, so he's stuck to that right hand side now. Is Sam going to be able to go all the way round the outside at Stowe? He's made it stick. Fantastic driving from the Renault, as Captain Chubbs has had a big moment actually going through there, and that's allowed Arby's to try and get round the outside into Vale. That will give him the inside for Club, so he's lost 2 places in the space of 3 corners there. As for Haas, he's gone from the net lead to a net 3rd position. Disaster for him. So we have seen the other 2 soft runners now of Langfell and Weiserman pit, but they will come a long way down the order, possibly even outside of the points once they come out of the pit lane. Langfell is going to come out in 8th place, just ahead of Callum Anderson, who's got to say, after the trouble he had at the start, you might not be able to write him off at the moment, because he's only 7.3 seconds behind his teammate at this moment in time. So could still get a very good result if he keeps it nice and clean on penalties, as Tom AJ's now lost a place to Sipke. He was net 2nd before the pit stops. He's now a net 5th position. Really hasn't enjoyed this stint on the fresher medium tyres so far. He's in the slipstream though of the Williams. Won't be close enough to have a fight into Cops, although he's going for it. Sipke's just let him have it. Sipke, I thought, was just letting him have it, and then seemed to go for it there. Just seemed to leave the door open. Whether he's just holding back because he knows he'll get DRS. It doesn't look like that, but I'm not quite sure why he went so slow on the run into Cops. That's actually compromised Tom's line. You can see Sipke did get DRS there. Very clever driving from the Williams driver. And that's just allowed him to pull away as Sam and Arby's are now battling side by side. Arby's goes round the outside at Stowe. Bit of contact between the two of them. So we've got a new leader again, the third one in 3 laps. And it is the McLaren of Arby's, who is yet to win a race this season. Yet to believe step on the podium. He's only finished in the points once in Austria, and that was 8th position. It looks like he's going to be doing a lot better than that here. He's 3rd place at the moment. And all that battling between Sipke and Tom AJ, who's now picked up a penalty, has allowed the front 3 of Arby's, Sam and Chubbs to just get away ever so slightly. So this could be a very interesting race now. Could it be these 3 battling for the win? Let's not forget about the 2 guys at the front. Moore in the Alfa Romeo, currently 4.3 seconds behind this man. These 2 started on the medium tyres, and it is Free Gloves making best use of those mediums at this moment in time. He's moved up 11 places from his grid slot. Still, obviously, to come into the pits, but he will almost certainly be going onto the soft tyres at the end of this race. So, watch this space, and I think the leaders will be watching as well to see how long these drivers can go for, because they're still showing pretty decent pace at the moment, so it definitely looks as though a soft medium strategy is going to be possible here tonight. With the McLaren of Arby's, we've seen the lead change here on the last 2 laps, but it looks like he's got a much bigger gap over Sam this time around, and it doesn't look like Chubbs in the Haas will be able to do anything about it either. So, as we're nearly heading to the halfway point of this race, and 1 lap 13 out of 26, these drivers just about to start lap 13. Arby's net leader at the moment. Sam net 2nd. Chubbs looking good for a podium. Sipke the pole sitter, he's 6th. That is a net 4th. Well, I say it's a net 4th position. At the moment, you've got to say you'd expect Free Gloves to maybe come out ahead of his teammates. So this could be very interesting indeed if the race leader, when he does pit, if he does get out on the soft tyres, maybe we could get this guy getting a win. Had a good result last time out, managed to finish in 4th and get the fastest lap for his first points of the season. Could he go one better here and get a podium? Could he go a lot better and become the 3rd different winner of this season? We'll have to see how it goes for him, as Callum Anderson has managed to get past Langfell down the inside into Brooklands. He is now into 8th position and not too far off the back of Tom Ivor, who seems to have dropped back from Sipke. So that puts Langfell in 9th place, and it's Panda rounding out the points at this moment in time. Back towards this battle for 3rd position, which will soon become the battle for the lead of this race. And you can just see at this moment in time, it looks like the McLaren has got pretty good pace. Sam not able to get close enough to him. Likewise, because of the DRS train, the Hats of Captain Chubbs not able to get close enough to Sam's rear wing either, as Sam picks up his first 3-second time penalty. This could change everything in the order. We will check in the final couple of laps what the penalty situation is like, but that's at least 1 for Sam and at least 2 for Chubbs, and I can't remember seeing Arby's name pop up at the moment in time, so that could be a bit of an even bigger buffer for these drivers. That is always what you want to see, as we've got a yellow flag, and that is the Freakser, who is, I think, really not enjoying. As I said earlier, all credit to him for keeping on going. I like to see this. I like to see drivers who don't give up. Unfortunately, I don't think his efforts are going to be rewarded with any points today. He's way off the back of the field, way off Hulsby. And for the Team Norway Racing, it's only Langfell looking to get any points at the moment for the TNR boys at the halfway point of this race. Really not going well for them. I don't think it'll be too long before Z Freaks is coming into the pits and getting rid of those soft tyres. He will have really burnt them up with that spin. Now though, back to the McLaren. Sam's looking a bit closer this time, but obviously once the dirty air starts to take an effect, he will be sliding a bit more. Won't be able to get on the throttle as early, though it's the closest he's been, but I still don't think it is going to be close enough, although Arby's might have wished he'd gone into overtake because Sam's just going to run out of room there. So that was very marginal before we got to a point where Sam could have thrown it down the inside, but there's not enough of the braking zone into Stowe to be able to do that. It's a very high speed corner at the end of the Hanger Straight, so unless you're pretty much alongside before you get to the braking zone, it is difficult to throw a car down the inside there. It's good news for the McLaren because with 12 laps to go, he's looking pretty good. But interestingly, none of them are catching up to Free Gloves. That gap is still staying pretty steady at about 25 seconds to the race leader. The Freakser is off again. And he's actually now out of the race. So as he freaks us out of the race, and we have a virtual safety car. I'm sure this man was hoping that was going to be a full safety car. It's a virtual safety car. Is it too early for him to come into the pits and put the soft tyres on? I think he might wait and see, as he's now picked up a penalty. He might wait and see if it's still going by the time he gets to the pit lane, but I don't think it's going to be worth it at this moment in time. I've been wrong before. There's a reason why I commentate and don't really do any driving. So we'll have to see what he goes for, but this could change things ever so slightly, because you can see the time gaps are actually changing there, and Free Gloves is coming into the pits then. Free Gloves is taking advantage of this to head into the pits. More heading in as well. Surely they'll be putting the soft tyres on, although that might be a struggle to get them to last 12 laps. DRS enable. Sam's been caught napping ever so slightly there. In fact, Chubbs is right on the back of him, and Arvid wasn't exactly at full throttle, so Sam's going to have to go defensive here as the Haas trying to make it round the outside. Not able to do so here. Still having to go defensive, and I think there was a very slight touch between the two of them there. Where is Free Gloves going to come out though? Is the Williams going to make the alternative strategy work and come out in the lead of this race? This is going to be mighty close here. We're just going to see a Williams to the side. Just down there you saw his name, so he is going to be behind these guys, as Sam might soon be behind the Haas of Captain Chubbs, who's gone down the inside. He managed to get alongside for Abby, but he's just held on to that position. Now Free Gloves has to get past these guys as soon as possible if he wants to win this race. He's easily going to need to build a buffer, because the final few laps aren't going to be ideal for him. Sam and Chubbs' battling's just allowed Arbis to get that 1 second window, that all-important 1 second window, so he doesn't have to worry about DRS. So it's looking pretty good for the McLaren driver at this moment in time. A lot's going to depend though on this race, and how quickly can the Williams off Free Gloves clear the traffic, get into the lead, and can he build a gap? If he's able to do that, as we've now seen Chubbs pick up his third penalty, so he's going to lose 9 seconds, which at the moment could possibly drop him all the way down to 10th place. That is how close it is at this moment in time. The top 10 separated by just 13 seconds, just over 10 laps to go here. Chubbs is in the slipstream once again. Sam goes defensive, so the Haas going to have to go the long way round. He tried it last lap, he's trying it this lap, and this time he has been successful. He takes second position on track then. And Sam, he'll have to fight back, and you can already see Free Gloves has closed that gap up. The top 4 drivers, 1.8 seconds separated them on track at this moment in time, and the Haas of Chubbs is getting back within DRS range of Arbis. Got to say at this moment in time, it looks like we are going to have a third different winner in 3 races here at F8. And the big question is it going to be Arbis, is it going to be Sam, or is it going to be Free Gloves? With Chubbs' penalties, I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get ahead of the McLaren and then build the gap. And I think it's going to be very difficult actually for Sam to defend here. Is the Williams just going to have the bravery to go all the way round the outside at Brooklands? He's still going to be there. He's ran off the circuit, and he's actually managed to get down the inside actually on his way down to Luffield. He's got supreme grip at the moment, can just straight out drag the Renault, and that is Free Gloves up into 3rd place, as Arbis has now picked up a penalty. So I think that means for the McLaren, the Williams and the Renault, how you see them on track are the real gaps. It's just Chubbs with 6 seconds extra, but I will check in the final couple of laps just to make sure that is the case. You can see by that yellow fuel marker, Gloves needs to do a bit of fuel saving, but that is easier as the weight comes down. But it was crucial that he got past Sam, crucial that he was opportunistic, and that might be his best opportunity. That slow start to sector 1 through turns 3, 4 and 5 through the loop might just give him the best opportunity, because he'll be able to use the superior grip of those soft tyres, and he was able to do that out of Luffield as well to outdrag the Renault, as Moore has now got ahead of Langfell. So that promotes the Alfa Romeo into 8th place, and the championship leader Callum Anderson will be his next target. If things stay as they are at the moment, Callum would be picking up 4 points, Sam would be picking up 8, so I think Chubbs, he'd be picking up 12 points. So not including penalties at the moment, it looks like Chubbs would take the championship lead, but obviously once the penalties are added, that could change quite severely. Fastest lap of the race then. Obviously it's not Ollie's, we know that, so it is actually Moore who would get that point for the fastest lap at the moment if he stays in the top 10. As Free Gloves, he's done it again through Luffield and Woodcote. He now takes second position in this race. It's another penalty for Chubbs. He's going to drop a long, long way down the order here. It's really going to be a costly race for him, and that is Free Gloves up into second. Surely it's only a matter of time before he's able to get ahead of the McLaren. He's running low on ERS though, so going into overtake has absolutely no effect for him at the moment. Maybe a lap of ERS saving might be in order here for another attack, and this would actually put Free Gloves up onto 31 points, maybe even give him a chance of taking the lead of the championship, but still obviously a long, long way to go here. Lap 19 then for these guys. 8 more laps to go. Can he get those soft tyres to last in a good enough condition until the end of this race? As more in the Alfa Romeo off the circuit. Said you need to finish in the top 10 to get the fastest lap point, and he's going to actually drop outside that top 10. Willows and Weiserman are going to get ahead. Willows is going to, Weiserman's going to have to go round the outside at Abbey. That's going to be a brave move, but he's got the momentum, so he's up into 11th. For more, we'll be hoping he hasn't worn those soft tyres out doing that, so we'll be hoping he can now get ahead. Further up though, Free Gloves trying to get past Garbage as Tom and Sipke are battling. So we've got McLaren and Williams battling for first and second and fifth and sixth, and the Williams is just winning out here. Will Tom be able to out-drag the Williams down the straight? You can see Sipke just seems to not have the straight line speed at the moment. I still think a bit of that's tactical to make sure he gets DRS, but he runs very wide through Cops. Now, Free Gloves, is he able to get past the McLaren? He's got a much better run through Chapel. That's not been a good line for Arbis whatsoever, and I don't think he's going to have any say in this. The Williams streaks past, and Free Gloves on that alternate strategy takes the lead of the race as Sam nearly throwing it down the inside of Chubbs there for what is now third and fourth position. Let's not forget Sam's got older tyres than those around him, but he's doing much better on penalties than the Haas, so he's still got a very good chance of getting himself on the podium. Would be his second podium of the season. And with the way things are at the moment, I don't think it'd be quite enough though to get him the championship lead. I think that would stay with his teammate, but it would put Renault 1-2. Well, it would keep Renault 1-2 after the first 3 rounds, so it's looking very good for them in the Constructors. The main question now though for destination of the race victory here is how far ahead can Free Gloves get of Arbis? He really needs to break that DRS train before his tyres start wearing, otherwise he's going to have nothing to defend with. Needs to fight for his life, needs to be so good through the twistier bits. This corner, for example, and you can see that gap has actually extended. They were about 4/10 of a second entering Brooklands. Coming out of Woodcote, it's gone up to 6/10, going down ever so slightly now just because of the slipstream. This could be a very interesting end to this race still. These two were in the lead earlier on, Chubbs and Sam. That's not the case now. They're just dropping back ever so slightly, so it looks like these front two will probably be the front two on track. And is Sam close enough for Chubbs this time around? Very low on ERS is the Haas. You can see the red lights blinking on his car to indicate that he is in that orange state. Shows that you haven't got overtake mode, you are low on electrical energy, and the car in front will not be travelling fast whatsoever. We're on lap 21 then now, 6 laps to go. Free Gloves that lead staying stubbornly for him at about 6/10 of a second. Cars coming by 2 by 2. Tom has managed to get ahead of Sipke, so that gap's nearly a second. It looks like the pole sitter, unfortunately for him, won't be able to get to the top 5 on track, but I think after penalties are applied, we are going to see a long drop down the field for Chubbs. Callum Anderson still ahead of Langfell. Moore has managed to get ahead of Weiserman, who's actually managed to get ahead of Willows as well. So 2 Alfa Romeos have basically swapped position with the racing point in between. We've only had 1 retirement so far. Ollie did disconnect earlier on, so he does not count for that. But see, Freakser had a lot of trouble in this race, and in the end, Cops just proved to be too much for him, and he's his sole retirement at this moment in time. As Sam still in the slipstream of Chubbs then. Lap 21, running out of time to go for it, but perhaps Jeff might have told him that he doesn't need to go for it. If he wants to get the win of this race, he's got to go for it and somehow catch up the gap ahead, which is going to be difficult. But he knows if he just stays where he is, the podium will be his, and that will be a great chance for his championship challenge. He is actually closing a lot here. Is he going to go for the inside? I didn't think the gap was going to open on the inside there, but he has done that. Chubbs is still hanging on. He's been able to find lots of grip on the outside. Will Sam be able to get alongside to get a run through Club? Will he be able to get the cutback here? No, in the end, Chubbs just slowing it down on the apex. And Sam's nearly lost it, and that could be the end of his chances of finishing in the top 3 on circuit. He's just about stayed within that 1 second window. That might give Tom a bit of hope behind, who has got the 1 lap fresher tyres. You can just see the McLaren there. Was the lead McLaren before the pit stop period. Arby's, despite going a 1 lap longer, the overcut seemed to work for him. Came out ahead of his teammate, and has then since been able to get ahead of the Haas and the Renault as well, and that is why he's currently in 2nd place, chasing down Free Gloves, and that gap is still around 7/10 of a second. We could be down for a final lap showdown here for the victory of this race. We now see Callum Anderson. He's got Langfell staying stubbornly on the back of him. Langfell and Weiserman were the last couple of drivers to get off these soft tyres, so they've got the freshest mediums, but we have just seen the Mercedes pick up a time penalty. We will use this opportunity. We'll wait and see what happens with Sam and Chubbs, as we've got a yellow flag. That is Weiserman, who's gone off through Luffield, so Racing Point down into 12th position at this moment in time. It's just outside the points, but he'll be hoping to keep his tyres in good condition, as Sam's tried to go around the outside of Chubbs once again. And can't fault him for trying, but all this battling will of course just allow the McLaren behind to catch up. So we could even see 2 McLarens on the podium here, which would be fantastic for them. As I said earlier, at the moment, 5th in the championship, yellow flag in sector 2, and I think Weiserman has actually gone round again. Probably his tyres just too hot after that earlier spin, so needs to just be careful and cool them down ever so slightly. Gaps at the front of the race now, nearly up to a second with 4 laps to go, as Sam not getting the best exit through the loop. You'll see Chubbs will go over to the left hand side. That's more just a break for toe more than anything. He's made the moves he's allowed to make now, and Sam's going to try and get it down the inside at Brooklands. That was a very late decision by Sam to go for that. There's wheel banging between them. That sent Sam wide. I don't think he'll be too pleased with that, but this, like I said, it's just allowing Tom to catch up, just allowing this front through to get away. And obviously because of Chubbs' penalties, it's really slowing him up. Weiserman gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Could expect Chubbs to possibly even drop down to 8th position at this moment in time. Said I was going to check the penalties, but I can't take my eyes away from this battle at the moment in time, especially now we've got a McLaren involved who's got DRS and won't be too affected by the dirty air, so he'll be making it a three-way battle for the final podium position. This time Chubbs goes very defensive down the hanger straight. Will Sam be able to make it round the outside? There's big contact between Sam and Chubbs. Didn't really see a lot of movement from either car there, so I wonder if there was a bit of netcode involved in that. But Chubbs down to 5th place. Second bit of wheel banging we saw between the 2 of them. Didn't look as though there was any severe move from either that caused that contact, but that in the end has dropped him down into 5th place. Yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who that is for. Might be for the Racing Point of Weiserman just slowing down, as you've got more. He's now managed to get ahead of Panda. So on those soft tyres, he was working his way up earlier on until he had that spin, but he's now down in 9th place. Let's not forget, he wasn't too far behind as he gets a bit of a tap from behind. He wasn't too far behind Free Gloves, about 7 seconds when they made the pit stop. And that is now a 21-second gap. Behind this man, Free Gloves leading the race. We will take this quick opportunity then to update the penalty situation. Free Gloves has 1 penalty. Arby's also with the 1 penalty. Sam at the moment has 2 penalties now. Tom with the 1 penalty, but he's only 1 warning away from another. And Captain Chubbs, 4 penalties is really going to drop him down the field. Sipyi has 2 penalties as well. So this man's currently on for a podium. Captain Chubbs could drop all the way down, maybe even behind Moore if Moore has managed to keep it clean. I say that as he gets a time penalty, so that's answered that question nice and easily for me. But you'd expect Chubbs to at least drop to 8th position. Not what he would have expected, especially when he was leading earlier on. Wonder if we will see that incident between himself and Sam go to the stewards. And in fact, he's starting to become under a bit of pressure from Sipyi and Callum Anderson and Langfell all of a sudden. Sipyi's really dropped back ever so slightly, so we've now got a 4-way battle on the final couple of laps for 5th position. We've got a 2-way battle for the lead, and we've got a 2-way battle for the podium slot. The order of the top 10 is anyone's guess at this moment in time as to how they will finish. It's been an absolutely cracking British Grand Prix here at PSGL F8. You can see Sipke just in 6th position. He'd have been hoping for more. He will get 5th. Could even manage to sneak himself up to 4th ahead of Sam. Looking at the gaps at this moment in time. It would have been a bad afternoon's work, but I'm sure he'd have wanted more after qualifying on pole position. Arby's though, what did I say about them soft tyres maybe starting to wear on free gloves? This is the closest he's been. He's got DRS open. These two both have 1 penalty, so you've got 6/10 gap. Will maintain the same at the end of this race, and they're going to go on to the final lap extremely close together at this moment in time. Place your bets on who is going to take the flag. Will it be the Williams? Will it be the McLaren? Who's going to become the 3rd different winner of this season? It's another time penalty for Chubbs. Penalties are really costing him at the moment. He is up to 15 seconds. Who's going to take the win? Who is going to take 3rd out on track? We know Tom is looking very good to get it on penalties, so perhaps he'll decide not to go for it at this moment in time. But Sam's going to be pushing extremely hard to ensure he doesn't drop behind. A few of these other drivers could even end up dropping behind his teammate, which would be amazing. After the spin earlier on, as we have had a spinner, and that is Langfell off the circuit, 8th position at the moment. His teammates coming in battling with Catboy K, and Langfell drops to 10th position then in the Mercedes. We've seen the Mercedes in real life obviously have trouble on the final lap round here, and maybe Husby's tyres could actually be heading towards puncture territory. Down in 13th position. Who's going to take the win though? Because this is the closest we have seen. Arby's again. He's right on the back of Free Gloves. He's going to go for it. Free Gloves not doing too good on ERS at the moment, so he's going to drop below that magic 10% number very quickly. Already below that. Arby's might have a chance here of getting the win for the McLaren into Stowe. Which way is he going to go? Inside or the outside? He's going to be forced a long way round at Stowe. Is he going to be able to hold it off? He's still there. Free Gloves has just about got the grip, but he hasn't got the overlap here. Arby's down the inside into Vale. Free Gloves is still there. He's just about going to hang on. There's been a bit of contact between the two of them. That sorts that out. Although I say that, Free Gloves very wide through Club. He just hangs on to take the checkered flag here. Arby's in 2nd. Tom has actually got ahead of Sam on track, so he will finish in 3rd. Sam will drop behind Sipke. Callum Anderson has kept it absolutely clean all race. He's got himself a podium after being spun out early on. I said it was going to be a task for him to get 3 podiums out of 3. He has done that and extended his championship lead. Sam dropped to 5th in the end. Sipke 6th. Captain Chubbs 7th position for him. Panda will be 8th. Langfell 9th. Moore is 10th at the moment. His teammate though has kept it clean and knocked himself out of the points. So Willow goes up to 9th. Langfell in 10th position. But we've got our 3rd different win from a 3rd different team of the season. Free Gloves making that alternate strategy work. He nearly lost it on the final lap. Well-deserved driver of the day, I must say, after winning from 12 on the grid into Williams. Free Gloves is the newest winner of season 26, and he will be absolutely decided. Great fight from Arby's. He nearly took it at the end. And what a job from Callum Anderson, keeping it clean, recovering after an early spin to get his 3rd successive podium of the season. So here are the provisional results then, before any stewards' inquiries. Tom finished in 4th. Very good day for the McLaren team. Sam in 5th position. Sipke 6th from pole. Captain Chubbs 15 seconds of penalties. The story of his day. If he'd have kept it clean, he would have been up on the podium, but unfortunately for him he couldn't. Panda is 8th, recovering after that qualifying ban. Willows is 9th. Langfell 10th. Moore down in 11th, just missing out. Another driver where penalties proved to be costly, but he didn't get the fastest lap, but he's not going to get a point for that. Husby, Catboy Key there finishing on the lead lap. OTG disconnected. Vitaman had some trouble near the end. Anzi Freakser with the crash, but it's a fantastic win for Free Gloves. Great performance from a few drivers there. I'm just going to try and quickly do some mental maths to work out what that has done for the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, Callum Anderson still in the lead, now on 32 points, and I think it is still... Actually, no, it's going to be Free Gloves who I think might have closed up now. It's going to be very close between... Sam's still actually just going to be behind him, so Sam's 2nd on 24 points, but I think it's Free Gloves who's now actually moved up into third. No, I clearly can't. I need to get my calculator out here. Three Gloves has moved up into second place in the championship, actually. Just 7 points now behind Callum Anderson. So despite that spin, despite finishing in third, despite not winning a race all season, Callum has still extended his championship lead. So a great job from him. But yeah, fantastic job. Shame about that incident with Sam and Captain Chubbs. It'll be interesting maybe to see what comes of that, because from my screen it looked like there was a very slight tyre tap, almost like what Mansell and Senna nearly did at Catalonia in 91, but it just seemed to send the Haas way off the circuit, and he did very well to hold it in the end. Without that, he might have still got some decent points. But that is it then for F8. We've had our third different winner of the season, and somehow, despite spinning at the start, Callum Anderson stays in the lead of the championship. Make sure to check out, though, the rest of the PSGL action we have here for you. Plenty of other races. F6 at the moment, I think they've just actually finished their race at this moment in time. Tomorrow you'll get the action from F1 to F5, F2, F4 and F5. It'll be at 7 PM. Me and Sam will take you through the F3 action at 8 PM. The F1 action will also be at 8 PM from Owen and Austin. The next race for the F8 boys will be around the Circuit de Catalunya for the Spanish Grand Prix. So make sure to check that out. Same time, same place. Hopefully, we all hope Storm is well enough to return next week. But for myself, hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow for F3, and hopefully we'll see you all back here next Sunday to see if Callum can extend his championship lead once again. We've seen 3 different winners, yet it's still Callum walking away with an extended lead in the championship. Could he get his first win of the season in Spain? Could we see a 4th different winner, or will we see our first repeat winner of the season? You'll have to wait to find out. Good night.